live. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a native of Little Rock, Arkansas, who gained national attention in her collegiate career at Grambling State University as the first ever basketball player to record a quadruple-double since 1993 and fourth player overall. She made history again her senior year in 2019 as she recorded her second quadruple-double. The quadruple-double placed her in a league of her own, making her the only person, male or female, to have more than one in NCAA history. On January 25th, 2020, she made history again as she recorded her third quadruple-double, making her the only person in DLS League One history to record a quadruple-double. She's a vocal leader in her community and an advocate for equality for African Americans. In her spare time, she enjoys binge watching Netflix and finding recipes for baking. Sports lovelies, welcome Shakyla Hill to Chicks in the Sports, the quarantine edition. Yeah,
thank you for having me. That was a great bio. I really like that.
It's all you, girl. You all
like
you.
That was nice.
Amazing accomplishments, though. You are a former Grambling State University. What did they call you? The Quadruple-Double Queen? That was your title? Oh my gosh.
Yes. I earned that title throughout towards like my last couple of years, but at first it was Thrill Hill, so I'm trying to get that back, and I try to put it on my website, put it on my merch because I like that name.
Yes, Thrill Hill is definitely the key here. Arguably the most decorated player in Grambling State's women basketball history, only player, man or woman, in history of the NCAA record to have a career quadruple-double. Now, walk us through that experience, and also just walk us through the HBCU experience. Let's go down memory lane.
Well, the first one, it was crazy. I think we didn't really know, what was going on. The game, I started off really slow. And I ended up, having one. And then afterwards, we were like talking, like, did you get one? Like, they're like, oh, you did get one. Somebody was like, no, you didn't. And then I was like, okay. So then we tried to look it up to see who had gotten one before. We couldn't find anything. So we just kind of let it go. And then all of a sudden, like, ESPN posted it. I was like everywhere. I was on ESPN. Like, I was on the Instagram, the Twitter. I was on ESPN, like the actual channel. James Harden tweeted about it, Chris Paul. So then it was like, okay, wow, this is like this is a big thing or whatever. And then the school kind of just ate it up. I feel like I was, loved by my school before, but I feel like that took me into another level. And it still, kind of propels the brand that I have today. Like, that being in a class of my own and doing that just has me on a different level than where I was before.
The whole experience to me is, for me, my experience with you was like, this girl, I got to get her on Chicks in the Sports Quarantine Edition. I got to speak to her. I mean, to even have like LeBron James to compliment you. I mean, I'm going to paraphrase what he said. Holy shit. That's impressive. Now, King LeBron said that to you. Right. How does that feel?
I actually cried. I cried that morning when I saw it. I cried. We had a game that day. We lost. I cried after that. I'm still on cloud nine from that. Like, I tell people all the time, like, LeBron spoke about me, so there's really nothing, you can tell me, or nothing anybody, men on Twitter get on Twitter and say, crazy stuff about women's sports. Nobody can get to me pertaining to that because LeBron spoke about me. Like, that's just a whole different, thing. And he's my favorite player. So it just kind of, for me, I was already like, on a cloud nine. That just kind of took me above and beyond because, woo, that's my guy. That's my guy. And I love him. So that was just a whole different thing for me.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I mean, just to say the least, just have like your idol to just know who you are, know your name, say your name out loud. That is an amazing accomplishment. Now, let's talk about after the season was over, when it was all said and done, the dust cleared. We were hoping that you would get drafted and go ahead and go on to the WNBA, but that didn't happen, right?
Right.
So walk us through those emotions just leading up to like your disappointment.
Well, initially it was a lot of excitement. I don't know if you've been to an HBCU before, but we have Spring Fest, in the springtime. So on the draft day, it was Spring Fest week and it was the comedy show day. So I turned my phone off. I didn't want to, like, I didn't want anybody, to tell me, what was going on. I just wanted, if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, I didn't want to. But I knew, even if I didn't get drafted, I was going to get a training camp contract. Like, some way I was going to get my foot in the door. And so when that didn't happen, I, like, shut down. I don't think from the time I was probably 7, I probably touched the ball, most of my life. Like, there's not been a break. I haven't had a real break. And so I took my first break. I didn't touch a ball for like 3 months. I didn't look at a ball. I didn't look at a gym. I didn't do anything. Like, I went into somewhat of a depression, but it was like an angry depression. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was really upset, for one, because I felt like, I put so much into the game. I poured so much, of my life, spent so much of my life. And I feel like, I was doing stuff that hadn't been done yet. So then I felt like, in some way it should have been acknowledged. Even if, like I said, I didn't get drafted, somebody should have, acknowledged, and they didn't. So it took me a long time to get back to the place where, I wanted to play again. I wanted to continue doing this, because when that happened and then I didn't get a call, it was like, everybody's asking me, like, who have you heard from? Who are you talking to? I'm trying to figure out who I'm talking to too. Like, nothing was going on, and I gave up. I quit. I quit.
We're talking about you just deciding to quit, right? And it's just like you felt defeated.
Right.
Was there anyone that kind of helped you pull you out of the stress of rejection and just kind of told you, just keep pushing? Maybe there's another plan. Maybe there's another way that we're supposed to go about doing this.
Not like, like word of mouth. I didn't get that from people's mouths, but I got it literally from my little brother. He was like a high school, phenom. He was super good. And coming out of high school, he ended up going to Cleveland State. Blessing in disguise. Cleveland State is still like, a D1 university, but it's not in that big of a conference or whatever. But we knew he deserved better. Everybody knew he deserved better. But you kind of got to take what you get. And so after his sophomore year, he decided to transfer, and now he's at the University of Florida. So that was going on at the same time that I was, going through that. And so I'm like, my little brother is 2 years younger. If he's younger than me, and he could push through all the adversity, the little rejections that he got, and starting off in this small school to end up in the SEC, then I can do the same thing. I can keep going. I don't have to quit. I don't have to, give up, especially if my little brother is, pushing through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about your aha moment. You are now playing in Serbia.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did you get there? What was the moment of, maybe I need to go a different route?
Maybe I went to a place called Game Face Training just to get back in athletes type of shape, because like I said, I didn't touch a basketball for a long time. Maybe like August, which is a terrible time for a person trying to play overseas. I signed with my agent like end of July, beginning of August. August and September is when people start leaving to go overseas. So I had some stipulations for when I went overseas. I had specific things that I wouldn't tolerate and specific things that I wanted. And so I had a couple of teams, offer, but Serbia was the place for me that stuck out the most as far as, all the things that I asked for. And then for 2, I wanted to be in a place my first year overseas where I knew I could contribute. I knew I could, get my name more out there than, initially. And so they were like the perfect fit. It ended up being perfect for me, actually.
Now, what I talk to a lot of players that go overseas. I always wonder, what is that moment like? Is it like the movie Love and Basketball? Because I definitely foresee, I put myself in you guys' shoes because I am definitely not athletic. So I live vicariously through you guys. What is that experience playing overseas? What is the culture like? Is it like Love and Basketball? Where the
Well,
fan base is just loving you guys?
yes, actually. And it's like that, like, well, with my coach, my teammates spoke English, but my coach didn't speak English. So, in Love and Basketball, when he's talking and I don't remember what he was saying, but then she's like, what did he say? And he's like, give the ball to you. Like that's
Right.
how it that's exactly how it is. But the fan base is crazy. If I go live on Instagram and I might have, let's say if I have 40 people on there, at least 20 of them are gonna be from Serbia. You know what I'm saying? Like their fan base is like their fan base for my team was crazy. The kids are like into the sports. Like it's kind of totally different from here. I mean, you have basketball teams here and WNBA teams and, kids participate, but their school is totally different from here. So it's like, okay, you're playing basketball, volleyball, soccer, or like that's all kids do, they play sports. And so it was totally different going over there. And HBCU sports I feel like don't get a lot of support. We at Grambling got more support, as I started getting my name out there, but initially we didn't. And so coming over there and the stands being full and kids waiting for pictures after the game was like totally, I mean that happened at Grambling, but it was like a constant thing overseas. It was totally different, but I loved it. As far as the culture though, I'm a picky eater. So it was really hard for me. Maybe my first month, I cried every day. I cried every day because I missed home. I cried every day because we were practicing like 4 times a day. I never had that. I cried because my coach, well, Serbians, they're not mean. Mean is not the word, but they're very aggressive, and how they talk is like, how they talk. It's how they were raised. So they don't find offense to it. But it was kind of hard for me to adjust to how he went about things. So we kind of butted heads at first. But as a people, they drink a lot, they smoke a lot. They're really fun and they're friendly. But I didn't enjoy the food. That was my downside. I didn't enjoy the food.
Now, besides the food, did they have McDonald's?
Okay. In my town, okay, I don't know. Okay, where are you from?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So no, you can't compare that. Okay, you have to think of like a really small town by Atlanta and then Atlanta. That's like what my town was, a really small town. So we didn't have any like fast food restaurants, but like the capital or like a town that was like an hour away had McDonald's, KFC, Wendy's, stuff like that. But my town didn't have any of that. So we had like grocery stores and we had a lot. It was just a really small town, and it worked out. We won, but it was just a really small town. It was terrible.
I get it. Now let's talk a little bit about quarantine life and how you have been adjusting, and just to our new normal. How have you been adjusting? Have you been training? Have you been binge watching Netflix? It's okay, you can be honest.
I really actually haven't been training. Initially when I came home, I thought I was going to get, another training camp contract, with the WNBA team. But it looks like WNBA is not even having a training camp. Like, if they have a season, they'll probably go straight into the season. So I've been doing nothing but, working on my website, binge watching. My boyfriend, actually, he hadn't watched Game of Thrones. So we watched Game of Thrones all the way through. We watched Snowfall. So I've been binge watching a lot of shows. I've been doing a lot of baking. I don't really know how to cook, so I've been trying to learn how to cook. I've been doing a lot of in-house things, and especially because, well, I'm from Arkansas, and I don't really know anybody here as far as getting in gyms and stuff. And then even when I was visiting home, I went home probably for like 2 weeks twice. Nothing was open. Like, no gyms are open. I couldn't get in anywhere. I couldn't lift any weights. I couldn't do anything. So I think I not gave up, but, I'm just adjusting to everything that's going on. And hopefully when things open back up, I'll be ready to, finally get out there and stop sitting on the couch. But right now I'm just, I'm living my best life, relaxing right now.
And that's nothing wrong with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about who inspires you, your inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration from?
My family, and I have a group of friends, HGONNG, and it means honor God or never grow. And it's like, I think it's 6 of us, and we're all from Little Rock. Well, I'm from Jacksonville, but we all live in that Little Rock area, and we all got connected through basketball. And here lately, especially even before I went overseas, they have been pushing me. Like, they have been pushing me to my limits and even past my limits. As far as my website, they're the ones who told me, you know, you need to keep going, you know, let this go, you know, like, stop being so scared. I've been super scared. I've had the website for maybe like 6 months, and I just released it like less than a month ago. Like, I've just been, you know, super nervous. So my friends definitely, they inspire me every day. They push me every day. They help me grow every day. And then my family, because I feel like my family believes in me, you know, more than anybody. And my mom, she just, you know, keeps me going. So yeah, my family and my close friends in that, you know, group, they definitely inspire me every day. Oh, and
Now, got it. I get it. I get it. I guess, you know, backtracking to you mentioned, you know, you are a human. You get nervous at times, being the former quadruple-double queen. I mean, we would have thought you would just be fearless in everything that you do. But, you know, that just shows the human side of you, that even with these major accomplishments, you do get scared. You do have fears. Now, do you have any regrets?
As far as college, like basketball?
Yes.
No. I don't have any. After my first quadruple double, like going into my senior year, I had a lot of schools, you know, call me trying to get me to, you know, leave Grambling. And I still have no regrets about staying. I have no regrets about where I chose to go to school, you know, how I chose to spend those years. Maybe I should have worked out a little bit more, but that's neither here nor there. So, but I feel like, no, I don't have any regrets. I feel like, you know, God has a plan for whatever is going on. And even if, you know, the WNBA doesn't work out for me, I feel like, you know, I've given like most of my life to this game, and I feel like I'm going to affect the world in so many other ways that aren't pertaining to basketball, that basketball is not going to matter that much when I fully serve my purpose. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I get it. I definitely get it. Now, I want to say, as far as everything that you've accomplished, good and bad, disappointments, no regrets for sure about everything that has happened in your life, what advice can you give to future or current collegiate athletes who may find themselves disappointed? You know, oh, this didn't go the way I wanted to go. Oh, I didn't get into WNBA. I just want to quit. What would you say to them to just encourage them?
I know people hear the term or the terms trust the process a lot, but that is like real life. Initially coming into Grambling, I didn't even play. As a freshman, I used to sit at the end of the bench, like one of those players that does not take take my jersey off, my jersey shirt off. I used to pass the water down. Like, I was that, you know, person. And then I ended up being like third in scoring, first in steals, first in, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, initially coming in, I don't think anybody thought, myself included also, like anybody thought, you know, things would be or turn out how they did. And I feel like fully trusting the process, trusting my coaches, trusting in, like, you know, my skill and my work ethic really got me to the point. And also, I would say, if you haven't, you know, been to college, choose a school that wants you, not the school that you want, if that makes sense. Like, people like John Morant, he went to Murray State and he was a second round pick. Not saying that I've just accomplished so much, but like, to Grambling, I'm like LeBron. I'm Grambling's LeBron. You get what I'm saying? And I know if I wanted to go back to school, they would pay. Like, you know, there's so many things that they've done for me. You get what I'm saying? Just based off of the things that I've brought them. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, choose the school that wants you, not the school that you want. Everybody's not going to play at Duke. Everybody's not going to play at UConn. You got to go to where you're going to be needed and utilized, especially if you're trying to get to the next level.
Get it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I get it. I definitely get it. Now, final question for you. When it is all said and done and, you know, you look back at your life, what would you say your legacy would be?
I want to leave a legacy of being a great and helpful person. I have so much stuff pertaining to, you know, kids coming up, kids entering college, kids that don't want to go to college. I have so many things, you know, planned to do for people, you know, that's not pertaining to basketball. You know, basketball is going to get my name out there and my leg in the door and, you know, put money in my pockets, but that's not what I want to leave behind. Like, okay, if you say, you know, I was a good basketball player, that'll be nice, but I want to leave the legacy behind. Like, oh, she helped so many people. She did so much. She gave so much money back. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. Definitely.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, Shakyla. You have been such an inspiration to not only me, but so many others that I know that will hear this. Thank you again for chatting with us. When you are in Atlanta, when everything calms down,
Yes.
which we are, you know, available and can go around and be around people, we'd love to have you back on our show to chat with us.
Okay. Thank you so much.